Hey everyone, Carlos with American Insurance Brokers, powered by Equus Financial. Today, I want to give a nice little tip to sales folks out there. It really doesn't matter what industry you're in. Today, I'm going to be demonstrating, of course, using insurance because we're in the insurance industry. But whenever a new agent or salesperson out there gets started, the most dreaded excuse somebody's going to give them not to buy is, I want to think about it. And a lot of them wrap it in a nice, pretty wrapping and say, oh, it sounds great. I think we most likely want to do this one or do that one, but we got to think about it. We got to look at our budget, yada, yada, yada. Now, there's a couple of things to understand what's going on, right? The client is, first of all, they're not really saying no to you. Not yet, unless you let it go that way, unless you say, okay, right? Then it turns into a no. What they're telling you right out of the gate is, you haven't given me enough information or incentive yet for me to be able to make a decision, right? So the human psyche, whenever we're involved in a situation like this where we kind of have to make a decision or on the spot decision, the mind automatically throws up a red flag and wants to shut down and say, whoa, 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 you're going to have to think about this, right? Because you don't want to have to make that decision right now. So it's very common for people to do that. And quite frankly, the easiest way for people to get rid of you and dismiss you is to tell you how much they like it and they want to think about it. So how do we handle this objectively without being too pushy with the client or seeming like a salesperson, but also keep in mind that we have our client's best interests at heart. So in my industry, particularly we work with mortgage protection products and life insurance benefits. We know after discussing with our clients and going through the information and doing a fact finder, we know that there's gaps in their coverage. We know that this is truly the best thing for them and their family to make sure that, God forbid, something happened to them, that their mortgage is going to be paid off, or if they have a critical event, to make sure that they get money to be able to pay their debts. So we know how important this is for the client. So that gives us a little bit better position of strength to be able to help this client make a decision. So it kind of goes something like this, right? So I'm talking to a client. I've done a great job on my presentation. I've built rapport with the client, right? We've discussed their needs, and I found that there's gaps, or some people like to call it hot buttons, right? But there's gaps in their coverage. So we know that we're trying to do a good thing for the client. But if you didn't build rapport, you didn't do a good job on your presentation, you didn't build value, it's going to be hard to use this. So make sure you're doing that first. Build value, build rapport, and of course, your intentions must be pure. Very important. But let's say I've done all those things and it gets right down to the point, and I'll go over three options. I said, this is option 1, 2, and 3. Which one makes the most sense and fits your needs and your budget, right? And the client says, well, this sounds great, and I think we're leaning towards option 2, but we're just going to have to think about it and take some time and discuss and see, look at our finances and which one fits our needs, our budget the best. So right out of the gate, again, that can be an easy one, especially for new agents. And unfortunately, they hang on to those. I've got 10, I want to think about it, in the bank. No, you don't, right? If you let those people go, then they're most likely a no. So it goes something like this. Client tells me that, and I say, okay, Mr. Jones, Tom and Mary, whatever, I understand you want to think about it. You want to look at your budget. That's, quite frankly, a lot of people have that same response. However, we've discussed, I want to talk to you right now like you're my friend or my cousin or my brother, like a family member. Is it okay? Can I talk to you like that? Most people are going to say yes, right? Majority of them, 99.9% of the people are going to say yes. And I'm going to say, thinking about it, I get it, right? And in your mind, it makes sense, but here's the problem. Human nature, right? So normally the best time to make a decision is when we have all the information and the facts in front of us. If we don't make a decision, it's so easy to put that decision on the back burner to want to think about it later. Now we've relieved our stress and life goes on. But unfortunately, we get caught up in life and every day-to-day event. This happens, that happens. Next thing you know, a couple days have gone by, and this is no longer important to you, right? So my recommendation to you is this. Most people know what their budget is, especially men, right? Men, if I'm talking to a guy, guys will pull the trigger on something so fast that even their wife's not going to approve of. They're probably going to have an argument later. But if they want something, they want something, right? Insurance is not something that everybody necessarily wants or goes shopping for or wakes up in the morning and says, I need to go find insurance. But the fact of the matter is, it's important. You have gaps in your coverage, right? We know even with all the current life insurance that you have, if you're gone tomorrow, Mary's going to have to replace your income because your income immediately stops. So the life insurance you have right now is not even enough to cover. We usually recommend 3 to 5 times your annual salary. And you barely have enough to cover 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is. Now you're going to take and add the cost of a $225,000 mortgage on top of that, right? Mary's going to run out of resources very soon. So whether we do 100% coverage, 75% of your mortgage, or 50% of your mortgage, okay. So if you're having a hard time making a decision, or if it's budget, let's start out with option 3. It's better to have at least 50% coverage on that mortgage than to not have anything on there, right? That's an easy decision to make, unless you just tell me that option 3 is way out of your budget range. So Tom, let me ask you, is X amount of dollars a month, is that going to take food off your table and keep you guys from doing the things that you do on a day-to-day basis? Okay, so then when you and Mary agree, then this is within your budget range. Yes. Let's go ahead and at least get option 3 started for you today. Now, at any time in the future, if you wanted to rediscuss this and look at newer options for you for the future, we can always do that, provided that you're reasonably healthy. Okay, but we can't ever go back in time and add coverage that you should have done back some time ago. We get calls in our office all the time of people, of kids that said, I have your information here. My mom had talked to you like a year ago, and she had your name and number written down, and she wrote down, life insurance and some numbers. I'm hoping that she got something. Did she put anything in place? No, I'm sorry. She said she wanted to think about it. Right. And I don't want that to happen to you folks. So let's go ahead and get option 3 started for you today. So at least we know you have coverage in place. Most of the time, right? Most of the time I get clients to re-engage, and they'll say, well, if we're going to do this, we might as well go ahead and do option 2 or option 1. Now, at that point, I say, are you sure? Are you sure? We know option 3 fits in your budget. Are you sure? We're not going to be stretching, pushing your budget if you do option 1 or option 2. No, we're sure. Okay. Now, I sincerely mean that. I'm not using it as a sales tactic, but I do sincerely mean that, because I don't want somebody to get involved with a premium they can't afford, because I don't want them to have to worry about this bill they have to pay. All right. Now, obviously, and if you're in a different industry, you're going to have to switch that and rearrange it around. But the whole point of the matter and the fact is, you have to get real with people. Speak sincerely to them. Again, the only way any of this makes sense is if you have the best intentions for the client, and it's a product and service that we know is going to benefit them in one way or another. Okay, so I hope this helps. God bless. Have a great day, and stay tuned for the next tip.